Good morning, my wonderful Vidyashriyans. I hope you all are doing well and you all have understood chapter number 4 of civics. That is laws, understanding laws. And I hope you all must have given a great test of the previous chapter as well. So, through this video lecture, let's start the next chapter of civics, that is chapter number 5, judiciary. So, beta, in this video, we will talk about judiciary. Beta, in the last chapter, we have already talked about various laws and how the laws are formed. Laws bante kaise hain. Here in this chapter, we will understand what are the implementation and how this proceed if the laws are violated. Okay, so as we all know that in India there is rule of law and we all have abided by certain laws. In case if those laws are broken or those laws are not followed, what would happen? There is violation of law, and when there is violation of law, it calls for the judiciary. So, beta, here we will talk about the role of judiciary first. So, the three things are very important when we talk about the judiciary. Okay, so the first thing is dispute resolution, the second, judicial review, and the third, upholding the laws and enforcing fundamental right. So, let's talk about the dispute resolution first. I'll give you an example. Let's say you and your brother is having a quarrel and your parents come and resolve that problem. So it is the small example of resolving a dispute. But where? When it occurs at national level or district level. So the things are resolved through judiciary. So resolving dispute is one of the major things that judiciary does. So, beta, let's talk about the second role of the judiciary, that is judicial review. Beta, as the final interpreter of the constitution, the judiciary also has the power to strike down particular laws passed by the parliament if it believes that these laws are a violation of the basic structure of the constitution. So, this is called judicial रिव्यू. तो अगर हम इसको बहुत ही सिंपल लैंग्वेज में समझे तो वी कुड से दैट जुडिशरी पार्लियामेंट द्वारा बनाए गए लॉज पर रिव्यू करती है और अगर उन्हें लगता है कि वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को ख़त्म कर रहे हैं या कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अधीन नहीं है तो उन लॉज को वो ख़त्म भी कर सकती है. So beta, the next important thing which the judiciary does is upholding the laws and enforcing fundamental rights. As you all know that every citizen of India can approach the Supreme Court or the High Court if they feel or if they believe that their fundamental rights have been violated. For example, if you remember in your grade 7 book, you read about Hakim Sheikh, who was an agricultural laborer and who fell down from the running train and injured himself, and whose condition got worse because several hospitals refused to admit him. On hearing this case, the Supreme Court ruled the Article 21 and provides every citizen the fundamental right to life, and also now it includes right of to health and right to health as well. So our judicial system has only done this amendment and includes right to health as our fundamental right. So upholding and enforcing the existing laws and enforcing the fundamental rights of every citizen is the duty of judiciary. Now let's understand what is an independent judiciary. स्वतंत्र judiciary क्या होती है? So let's understand it with a simple example. I'll give you an example. अगर मान लीजिए अगर किसी पॉलिटिशियन ने ज़बरदस्ती आपकी प्रॉपर्टी को अपने कब्जे में कर लिया और उसकी वजह से आप कोर्ट गए, बट अगर उस पॉलिटिशियन के पास ये पावर हो कि वो जज को अपॉइंट कर सकता है या डिसमिस कर सकता है तो क्या होगा? सोचिए. Yes, the judge is clearly partial to the politician. So, the control that the politician holds over the judge does not allow for the judge to take an independent decision. This lack of independence would force the judge to make all judgments in favor of the. Beta, you all have learned about the key feature, which is separation of power, in chapter number 1 as well. What is that? Beta, it means that other branches of government like legislature and executive cannot interfere in the work of जुडिशरी. जो जुडिशरी है वो अपने आप में स्वतंत्र है, वो किसी के अधीन या किसी के रेफरेंस में आकर काम नहीं करती है. द कोर्ट्स आर नॉट अंडर द गवर्नमेंट एंड डू नॉट act on their behalf. So for the separation to work well, this is important that all judges in High Court as well as Supreme Court are appointed with very little interference of these other branches of the government. And you know, once these judges are appointed to the office, it is very difficult to remove a judge. So I hope you all have understood that it is the independence of the judiciary that allows the court to play a central role in ensuring that there is no misuse of power by the legislature and the executive. Now, let's understand what is the structure of courts in India with the help of this diagram. Beta, there are three different levels of court in our country. There are several courts at the lower level, while there is only one at the apex level. Beta, the courts that most people interact with are called subordinate or district courts. These are usually at the district or tehsil level or in towns, and they hear many kinds of cases. And you know, each state is divided into districts that are presided over by a district judge, and each state has a high court, which is the highest court of the particular state. Now let's see who is at the apex level. At the top is the Supreme Court that is located in New Delhi and is presided over by the Chief Justice of India, and the decisions made by the Supreme Court are binding on all other courts in India. So beta, now the question comes, are these different level of courts connected to each other? क्या ये सारी कोर्ट्स जो हैं, चाहे डिस्ट्रिक्ट की हों, चाहे हमारी स्टेट लेवल की या फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट, क्या ये तीनों जो इकाइयां हैं ये एक दूसरे से जुड़ी हुई हैं? Yes beta, indeed they are. Beta, in India we have an integrated judicial system, meaning that the decision made by the higher courts are binding on the lower courts. Another way to understand this, appellate system that exists in India. What is appellate system? This means that a person can appeal to a higher court if they believe that the judgment passed by the lower courts is not just. तो अगर किसी पर्सन को ये फील होता है कि लोअर कोर्ट ने उसके साथ सही जस्टिस नहीं किया है, तो वो उस डिसीजन के अगेंस्ट हाई कोर्ट या फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक भी जा सकता है, बट विद द ड्यू प्रोसेस. So now let's understand what are the different branches of the legal system. Beta, there are two different branches of the legal system in India. First is crime law and the second is civil law. Now let's understand it one by one. So beta, let's understand the difference between criminal law and civil laws. So beta, criminal laws होते क्या हैं? Beta, criminal laws deals with the conduct or acts that the law defines as offenses. For example, कहीं चोरी हो जाना, harassing a woman to bring more dowry, murder, और ये वाले जो केसेस होते हैं ये क्रिमिनल लॉ के अंदर आते हैं. एंड इट यूजुअली बिगिन विद लॉजिंग अ FIR, दैट इज़ फर्स्ट इंफॉर्मेशन रिपोर्ट, और इसके बाद पुलिस की इन्वेस्टिगेशन होती है. एंड if a person found guilty, the accused can be sent to jail and also fined. Now let's understand what are civil laws. Because civil laws deal with any harm or injury to rights of individual. For example, dispute relating to sale of land, purchase of good, rents matter, या फिर डिवोर्स केसेस. और इसमें क्या होता है बेटा, इसमें पिटिशन फाइल की जाती है by the affected party only. Okay, in a rent matter either the landlord or the tenant can file a case. और इन केसेस में क्या होता है, द कोर्ट गिव्स द स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ आस्क्ड फॉर इंस्टेंस in a case between a landlord and a tenant, the court can order the flat to be vacant or the pending of the rent to be paid. तो इस तरह से ये डिफरेंस हम समझेंगे कि क्रिमिनल लॉज और सिविल लॉज में क्या डिफरेंस होता है. सो बेटा आई विल गिव यू द फ्यू ऑफ द एग्जांपल्स एंड you will tell me that which branch of the law will handle the particular case. First example, a group of girls are continuously harassed by the group of boys while walking to school. So this kind of case comes under which branch of law? Think. Yes, criminal law. And if a tenant who is being forced to move out files a case in court against the landlord, so this kind of case comes under which branch of law? Yes, civil law. But now we have understood that what are the different branches of the legal system. Now let's understand this also. Does everyone have access to the courts in India? Yes, indeed. All citizens of India can access the court in this country. This implies that every citizen has a right to justice through the courts. As you read earlier, the courts play a very significant role in protecting our fundamental rights. And if a citizen believes that their rights are being violated, then they can approach the court for the justice to be done. But in reality, access to the court has always been difficult for a vast majority of the poor in India. Legal procedures involve lot of money and paperwork as well as and take up lot of time. For a poor person who cannot read and whose family depends on a daily wage, the idea is going to court get justice often seems remote. But in response of this, the Supreme Court in the early 1980s devised a mechanism of public interest litigation or PIL. So let's understand what is PIL. So it allowed any individual or organization to file a PIL, which is public interest litigation, in the High Court or the Supreme Court on behalf of those whose rights have been violated. And in that case, the legal process was greatly simplified, and even a letter or a telegram addressed to the Supreme Court or the High Court could be treated as PIL. And I'll tell you the interesting fact that the midday meal that children now receive in government and government aided school is because of the PIL, which is public interest litigation. So for the common person, access to courts is access to justice. The courts exercise a crucial role in interpreting the fundamental rights of the citizen. So as what court did in Article 21 of the Constitution on the right to life to include right to food, right to life भी किया गया 21 आर्टिकल में, साथ साथ right to food भी include किया गया. They therefore ordered the state to take certain steps to provide food for all, including the midday meal scheme. Another issue that affects the common person to access the justice मिलने में एक और issue है, वो है long number of years that courts take to hear a case. The phrase justice delayed is justice denied is often used to criticize this extended time period that courts take. बेटा इन सभी बातों के बावजूद हम ये चीज़ डिनाई नहीं कर सकते दैट द जुडिशरी हैज़ प्लेड अ क्रूशियल रोल इन डेमोक्रेटिक इंडिया. फॉर एग्जाम्पल सर्विंग एज अ चेक ऑन द पावर्स ऑफ द एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड द लेजिस्लेचर as well as in protecting the fundamental rights. So, beta, at last, I want to say that the Constituent Assembly had a quite correctly envisioned a system of court with the independent judiciary as the key feature of the Indian democracy. So, in this chapter, beta, we have learnt about the role of judiciary, structure of the courts, and its different branches. So, I hope you all have understood this chapter well. So, see you in the next video. Bye.